All right, I'm live, guys. I'm live. Okay, guys, I'm online right now. I'm on. Um, it is 7, almost 8 o'clock. It is 25th. To Sunday. To Sunday. Um, Yesterday I went and did a driving lesson. You know, and we went down this road during one of the lessons. During the lesson, I was going through, and both on both sides of the street, both sides of the street is a protest, okay, protest, and um, I am in the driver's seat, and next to me is my instructor, cool dude, really cool dude, and I'm sitting there just shaking my head, like I I get that everybody's upset, everybody's pissed off, they're all just like just really not happy. Okay, not happy at all of what's going down with ice and shit. Yesterday there was a guy. He was a doctor, 37 years old, a nurse. Um, he was covering his body over a woman that was getting pepper sprayed. Okay, they grabbed a guy, and the guy had a gun. He it was legally carried legally, and and the footage there were two to three angle footages of his passing, and I'm sitting here watching this. A bunch of ice and border patrol guys. They grabbed him. One of them grabbed the guy's holstered weapon and turned it and used the butt of the gun and beat him with it. About two or three hits, and as soon as he dropped, one of them fired at him, and he was hit at least what was it, 8 to 10 times while on the ground after taking a beating, taking three hits from the butt of his own handgun. And when he dropped, he was hit 8 to 10 times, right? And both sides are just completely. But there were this footage here. This footage here that was seen. Um, he was a nurse, 37 years old. He was doing his job. Uh, Protecting the woman. But I started to spin it that he fired the first shot. I'm sorry. You know, it's really at a head here. I mean, you got the one guy from head of the border patrol, dressed like a fucking Nazi and shit. Like he's fucking I mean, the guy is what, 5'4", never actually served a military, never did anything like that at all. He wore a helmet, and he tried to throw a gas grenade, and it blew up in his face. Okay, this guy's a wannabe. Okay, they put a wannabe in charge of border patrol. Okay, they put a wannabe ahead of the border patrol. Absolute stupid fucking thing, dude. I mean, look, it shows that anybody in power, dude, anybody in power is just completely fucking off, mentally off, man. And the guy that was shot didn't even fire anything. He was helping a lady. Okay, um, he was getting pepper spray, and he was covering her body with his to protect her. Ice grabbed him, started beating the shit out of him. Also, when he dropped, one of the ice assholes shot and fired and shot the guy. Then all of a sudden, more shots fired. 8 to 10 shots. Died instantly. Died instantly. Now, and I'm sitting here like, oh, they'll get away with it because they have this thing called qualified immunity. Like, why do you need it? So we won't be held accountable for our actions. Dude, qualified immunity. Basically, you're you're protected by something that was never went through Congress at all. It was put out there by a judge. Really, dude? Really? If a judge can get in trouble for protecting illegal migrants from ICE in a courthouse, ICE asshole can get pretty much in trouble for killing an innocent civilian. No, this action, okay, from both sides here. Look, you can protest. Okay, that's your legal right. It's a protest legally. I mean, protest, but here's the thing: you cannot be stupid. Okay, you have to use your head here, man. Use your head because the thing is, if you do something stupid, which I've seen, you will end up taking around victim. Okay, you have to think smart. Okay, you got to think really smart, folks. Really, 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 really smart. Because the thing is, look, I said this maybe twice. What was it, 2 or 3 times so far? There has to be a underground communication to monitor this shit. Gather enough evidence. Okay, don't go in there and try to start shit. Be smart, man. Stand back. Just do an underground resistance kind of thing where you collect information, data from neighborhood to neighborhood. Look, neighbors can help each other. Okay, neighbors can help each other by doing do like a neighborhood watch. Protect your neighborhood. Protect your area, but do it carefully, smart, and wise. Okay. Look, I'm in California. Okay, I'm in California. The fog is very bad here. Okay, very very insane, dude. Insane. All right, so do a kind of a monitoring. Okay, but if you're out in public, look. The thing is, according to the First Amendment, you have a right to film. Okay, you are pretty much you're chronicling. You're chronicalizing the event. Okay, you have your phone. You have your phone, and it's pretty much that if you want to have something like it, look, have a backup device. Okay, backup. Okay. Now, carry a radio. Okay, I have a Baofeng UV5R, AM FM UV VHF. What was it? Baofeng UV5R, 2A UHF VHF FM. Okay, get yourself one of those. Okay, get yourself one of those. Okay, big time. They work well. They're very handy. And also you can listen to police chatter. Okay, police chatter. Okay, monitor. Okay, all you gotta do is that monitor. Okay, just listen. Don't do anything stupid, but listen. Have someone. If someone's there, boots on the ground. Well, here you go. Be like a neighborhood watch intelligence service kind of thing. To help neighbors. And if you see people get in the face of ICE agents, a good a portion are agitators. Okay, agitators. Okay, agitators. Really bad idea. Now, again, again, get yourself one of these. This is a UV. This is a Baofeng UV5R, 2A FM VHF UHF. Um, this has this is not the original antenna. Okay, this is a longer antenna. This is the original here. This one here is the original antenna. There you go. Let's see here. With the longer antenna, you could get pretty good radius, man. Radius. Small one, you could get about up to a good 5 miles, but this here, you can get pretty good mileage radius, But again, it's getting really bad, like really, really bad here, folks. ICE is not make ICE is not looking good right now. Neither is the Border Patrol. Okay, neither is the protest. It's getting bad, very, 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 very fucking bad, man. Very, very bad. Thing is, it's getting bad, like seriously, very, very bad, guys. I mean, I don't like what I'm seeing at all. I think it's really dangerous. The time we're in now, it's like really getting bad, folks. Like really, really bad. Um, but from what we're hearing is that ICE and the Border Patrol are using this. I don't know if it's both or one of them. They're using a software to monitor your phone, your device. Okay. Um, um, I'm working both channels here. Both channels here. Okay. I'm using my laptop computer, my Lenovo. I'm also using my iPhone here. But my iPhone has a SIM card for my tablet. So my iPhone I cannot call. It's like basically an iPod. Works like an iPad, a small iPad kind of thing, Can't call. What you can do is if you have a backup device to do a little to record the event, but kind of stay away, but just enough to where you can get um shots, good, and gather evidence. But again, you have to be smart, okay? You gotta be smart, okay, folks, because look, you got idiots on both sides, okay, and it's not good. It ain't looking good for anybody. Again, what I saw yesterday. Um, the protest is getting insane too, but at least it's civil and peaceful. Um, that's all that matters is that a good protest is peaceful and civil. What I saw yesterday was people holding signs, and that's how it should be. If you're upset, look, think, okay. If you choose violence, okay, the other opposition will use violence as well. Maybe even worse than whatever. We have ice here in California, Clovis, Fresno, San Francisco, Southern California, and it's getting bad, man. I mean, people are. I mean, the thing is, it's not looking good for both sides at all. All of it is being politicized on both sides, from both sides, and nobody's really like comprehending that. Look, you have agitators on one side, and you have assholes on the other side. Both sides are choosing violence. Okay, violence. Yeah, I know. A huge percentage of ICE, way out of hand, way out of hand, folks. I mean, like literally way out of hand here, man. Um, and I mean, look, I get that some of you are angry. I get that. From what I saw, was that nurse getting shot, man, dead. Didn't even fire a shot. Didn't even attack anybody. He was covering his body. He was using his own body to protect a woman who was getting pepper spray. He was protecting somebody. That's it. Look here. There was a Right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Drew Evans, and I'm the superintendent of the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. The public in the state of Minnesota expects that when a person is killed in one of our communities, an independent, thorough, and transparent investigation is conducted into that incident to fully understand what occurred and any enforcement authority is involved in a deadly force encounter. Minnesotans not only expect this, but they deserve this. That's what our BCA Force Investigations Unit does. For years now, our independent unit has investigated the majority of use of deadly force incidents in our state. That's true for incidents like the BCA, and it's common practice across the United States. That includes incidents involving federal officers.
and other high-profile incidents like occurred in the city of Minneapolis and across our state, not only in recent months, but in recent years. Our highly trained, independent team of investigators, crime scene personnel, are experts at conducting these types of investigations. This is all they do. We do not make decisions about guilt or innocence, but we compile the facts of the incident for review by proper prosecutorial authority.
See, this is what I want to see from the citizens. Okay, the citizens. Okay, citizens. If citizens work together, look, set aside your differences. Okay, set aside your political bullshit. Okay. Now the thing is, it's time to start thinking. Thinking, okay, folks, thinking. Because if we put aside our political beliefs for the moment, put our differences aside as well as our political belief, whatever it is, and start thinking like human beings. Start thinking like critical-minded Americans. Okay. Period. Okay. We all know. You got ICE. You got Border Patrol doing their stupid shit. I know they have a job to do, but a few of them have gone insane. Okay, look, and the thing is, I've always liked a underground neighborhood resistance in a way where you gather, monitor, you gather information, chronicleize it, time stamp it, date it, and keep it logged. Keep it logged. The date, the time, and and keep records. Keep records. Do it on your phone because your phone has you can download a tablet, a notebook on your phone or a tablet and document. But also get a pencil and a notebook and chronicleize date, timestamp, the event, whatever. Keep records of what happened on that very day. Log it all. Don't bullshit. Don't fib. Don't lie. Tell the truth. The truth. Log the truth. Date, timestamp, here. Log everything. You know. Also, keep things intact. Okay. Do like a patrol day and night. Okay. Do a check in. Do a check in. Make sure that the people are good. And show that as neighbors you could coexist civilly and peacefully. Put your differences aside, whatever it is. Come together. You know, be smart, man. Be smart. Okay. Be smart. If you stay smart, they'll help you. Okay, we all know that of what happening yesterday. If neighbors stick together, work together, able to keep a record of what happened on that very day, you know, date, timestamp, whatever it is, and what you have could be evidence of what you've seen. Log it down, write it down, and because what you have will be chronicle of what happened that day, at that time, that moment. And if you have a post someplace neutral, okay, neutral, okay, where you could gather and coordinate peacefully, civilly, because violence is not needed unless it's necessary. Okay, a spot where you could gather with the neighbors, you know, gather all what you have logged, date and timestamp and whatnot. You be the civilian news. The civilian news, man. Okay, simple as that. All right, gotta be smart. Gotta be careful. Gotta be wise. Gotta be like literally. Gotta be wise, man. Okay, here we go.
Authorities both at the state and federal levels. This morning, I was in contact with the Minneapolis Police Department after the incident that you're all familiar with now. They requested our Force Investigations Unit respond to the scene and conduct such an independent investigation as we have in other recent incidents in the city of Minneapolis. What occurred was our team responded to the scene, and I was in contact with federal authorities to inform them that that was going to occur and that we were responding to the scene in Minneapolis. When our team arrived, they were blocked by federal agents with the Department of Homeland Security from accessing the scene. We worked with them and were in contact with the FBI, trying to attempt to access the scene so we can gather evidence to understand what occurred and work through this process. Our team also secured a search warrant for the scene, which is an unusual move in a public area like that, but we did that attempting to have judicial approval to enter the scene to gather evidence. We were once again blocked by federal authorities to go in and do that scene examination. We have a long history of working side by side with the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
What it's saying is they were blocked from investigating that area, which they have every right to. They got a court order. Once again, denied. Like, if there's a court order, you cannot deny a court order, because the thing is, the way I see it, ICE is covering their ass.
On all types of cases. That's true in other high-profile incidents.
ICE is covering their ass.
And that remains the case that we do and will be going forward. They're excellent partners to us as an organization, but unfortunately, in these recent events, others outside of the state are making decisions that that does not occur. So we will continue to investigate this case and others that we have recently been involved with, but I would be remiss if I didn't state that it will be difficult to obtain all of the evidence and information contained without cooperation. It is my understanding at this time that this case is now being led by the Department of Homeland Security Investigations as an investigation into this matter, and not the FBI leading that at this point in time. As the FBI gathered information and conducted crime scene evaluation, they left. After they left, we were attempting to move in to do our own scene examination once we can access the scene. The federal agents that cleared the scene, as was previously said, the state and local police that were on scene from the beginning of this, providing protection of that scene alongside federal agents trying to allow us to do our work, were unable to hold that scene, and it got overrun with protesters in the area, and we were not able to re-examine that scene. I'm aware, and our team is aware, of the videos that you've seen, and we welcome additional information provided to our team going forward that will continue a full investigation to the best of our ability that we have. And we will do that, as we always have, fairly independently in that process and transparently, as we do in every investigation, and provide that without recommendation to the county attorney's office for review. We're in uncharted territory here. It's been a long-standing understanding both within our state and across the country that entities like the BCA that conduct 80+% of officer involved shooting investigations across the United States are asked to do these investigations of federal agents involved in officer involved shootings.
So what he's saying is DHS is covering up for ICE's ass. DHS is covering ICE's ass. And yeah, DHS is covering ICE's ass. Okay, right now we're doing both channels here. Here on my iPhone, we got the anonymous Medaway Network. Here on the our computer, we got the anonymous Republic Network. And so we're doing two channels today. And basically what he's saying is they tried to investigate as well. They were blocked twice, even with they were blocked with the court. Even though they had a court order, they were still blocked. DHS ran the investigation, covered for ICE, and they couldn't go in there and do their investigation because it was overrun by protesters, and it was just like really fucked up, man. Really fucked up. So
certainly can be a new process going forward if the federal government would like to do that and federal agencies, but that has not been a discussion that's been had so that we can provide clear understanding to citizens to understand what that process will be. And so we will continue to investigate this case. We welcome cooperation. I continue to ask that we provided access to any information that's necessary to do a complete investigation, and that we want to work together with all of our federal partners so that we can really understand what occurs in any of these cases. An upstream shooting is an incredibly complex incident, regardless of the video that you see. The only way to really truly understand what occurred is to have a full investigation of the matter so that we can really understand what we all see that happens in a very short period of time. It's often incredibly complex and requires a very thorough and large investigation to really understand what occurs in those very few moments that we often see. We'll continue to pursue partnerships with our federal partners in these investigations and others going forward, as it's clear to us and it's clear to all of us in Minnesota that we at the state and local level have an expectation that something happens in our communities. That investigation not only is done by our federal partners, but also by state and locals in the various incidents as we see them. The Bureau of Criminal Apprehension and our Force Investigations Unit is committed to continuing to work on these sorts of incidents and conduct those independent investigations at the request of our local partners. Whenever that happens, Minnesotans deserve that. So that
this is from KARE Channel 11 out of Minneapolis.
Understand what occurred in each and every one of these incidents, so they can really have an understanding of what occurred.
Okay, folks. It's that time. Hey, brother.
What up?
Hey, man.
What up?
Not much. Doing two channels today.
All right, what are we doing?
We're calling out hypocrites from both sides here, man.
All righty.
And I did my third and final lesson yesterday. And
All right.
during that lesson, I came upon a anti-ICE protest.
Okay. Well, there's been a lot of that going on lately, and frankly speaking, it's a lot of hypocrisy. Yeah. There were some protests during the Obama administration because he was putting kids in cages, and then they tried to blame that on Trump, even though it was Obama. But it was nothing to the degree that it is now. I mean, you've had at least 3 ICE-involved shootings because these dumb fucks are going to the protests and deliberately trying to escalate the situation so that they can be martyred.
Yeah.
Like, you take the guy fucking yesterday, Alex, what's his name? Looks like a total fucking simp. Probably sat there and watched one battle after another and thought, hey, I'm going to go kill me some ICE agents and I'm going to get me some pussy.
This latest victim was a 37-year-old nurse.
Alex, what's his name? Kind of looked like the fucking Noid. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Looked like a younger version of him.
There were about two or three angles that they showed, and the guy had a gun on him, but he didn't touch the gun.
The thing was, he was reaching for his holster, even though the gun wasn't in the holster. He was reaching for his holster, and that's what got him shot. Because in the heat of the moment, the gun was dropped, but the gun had fallen out of the holster apparently, but he still reached for his holster, thinking it was there, and ICE made the same assumption, and that's where they capped his ass.
Well, one of the angles was that they grabbed the gun out of the holster themselves, because from what the story was, a woman was getting pepper sprayed, and he went in to cover her body with his, and they grabbed him, and they holstered his weapon. One of them did, and gave him a good 3 hits to the head with the butt of the gun. And as soon as he dropped, one of them shot him, and he was hit 8 to 10 times.
Okay.
But I'm not getting it from any news. I'm just saying of what the angles were. So
Okay. Did they hit him with his own gun or
his gun? Yeah,
their
his
gun?
gun. They had his gun, and they took his butt of the gun and hit him 2 or 3 times with it.
All right.
And as soon as he dropped, one of them shot him.
All right. Well, it wasn't a matter of him having dropped. It was a matter of him having reached for his holster. So, if anything, they could argue that they thought, at least they could have thought that he had another weapon on him. Even if they disarmed him of the first weapon, you never know how many weapons a person might actually have on them. And the fact that he's gone to this protest with a weapon and then interfered with officers only escalates the situation. And let's face facts. Play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
Yeah.
Okay, the officers aren't going to know how many weapons this guy did or did not have on him. Even if they took the first gun, if he's reaching for his holster, those agents don't know if he has another gun on him.
Well, the thing is, it was not a good day, man. Not a good day.
No, it's not a good game. But again,
play
stupid games with stupid prizes.
Not a good day. Not a good day. Nobody's being smart. They're not using their head, man. They're not using their discernment. Not really thinking at all.
No, they're not. And this guy as a nurse works with first responders. You have and as a first responder and a nurse, you understand how the dynamics work in terms of cooperating with law enforcement and the procedures. Now, if he was trying to, quote, protect this person as a first responder or even somebody who works with a first responder, and I'm speaking from experience here, you do not interfere with an officer in the performance of their duty. You render aid after the fact.
Yeah.
You do not get involved. You do not put yourself in the middle of police activity. You assist police and law enforcement in the performance of their duties, how you are directed to do so.
Well, there was
with moderate exceptions, like if in terms, I'm going to backtrack a few years. When a firefighter was arrested because an officer told him he couldn't park there and couldn't move into a specific area, blah blah blah. firefighters and first responders do oftentimes have the leeway to act outside of the peripheral of the police, especially if there's a fire or a medical emergency. Then the roles kind of reverse and the police work with the fire department. But in most cases where there is a police investigation going on, the first responder or the medical personnel have to defer to the law enforcement's discretion and follow their direction.
Yeah.
It depends on the situation. If it's a fire or a medical emergency, you know, like somebody's trapped in a burning car, or, you know, they're being crushed by a fucking car or something like that, then police would assist and follow the direction of the firefighters and the paramedics. But if it's a police investigation or police or law enforcement in general who are in charge of the situation and it's their call, then medical personnel, EMTs, and firefighters have to follow law enforcement's lead.
There's a press conference. The Minnesota BCA said they're blocked by DHS yesterday when they went to go and investigate, and they're blocked, and they came out with a court order, and yet they're still blocked from investigating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what exactly are they trying to investigate? And that would be blocked. That would have the coroner's report blocked.
The shooting of that guy.
I know, but what elements of this case could result in Department of Homeland Security trying to block that? And is that local?
It's local. It's local.
Okay, so that's local. Is it Homeland Security on the federal level with Trump, or is it DHS working with
It's DHS for Trump?
Okay, DHS for Trump. At which point, it begs the question: what are they trying to cover up there? Because it seems pretty cut and dry. Okay, ICE agents shot this individual. You have all these public videos showing all these different angles. Now, an investigation is not going to rule out whether or not an officer thought that their life was in danger when Alex Dum Dum reached for his holster.
That's if he was a dum dum.
Well, here's the thing. If you are, as we discussed, ICE agents do not know if he had a second weapon, did not know at that time if he had a second weapon on him. And him having reached for his holster lends credence to the idea that he might have had a second weapon on him. And at which point, lethal force is authorized, even if he is unarmed, because let's just give an example. If I'm stopped by a cop and I reach into my pocket especially abruptly, that officer could assume I'm reaching for a weapon. Even if he doesn't see the weapon, he can assume I'm reaching for a weapon, and at which point lethal force is authorized. That's why they tell you at a traffic stop, let the officer know, hey, I'm reaching into my pocket to grab my wallet to pull out my identification and whatnot. That's why you tell the officer what you're doing and how you're doing it, and you do it slowly so as not to escalate the situation. We have all this information online and how to engage with law enforcement so as not to escalate a situation and place ourselves in danger. And that's why I call this guy a dum-dum, because you have all this information readily available to you. And as somebody like himself, a nurse who works with first responders on a regular basis, but all police, fire, and EMTs, this person works with these people daily. Okay, they interact with those people daily. And with all the information you have on the internet on how to engage with law enforcement, how to conduct a peaceful, effective protest, what the laws are, what you can and cannot do, there is no excuse for anybody to escalate these situations to the point where human life needs to be lost, unless that is the intent.
Exactly.
Because we don't have an excuse anymore. People do not have the excuse of willful ignorance of the law and how things work. Because if you're going to show up there armed, and I know a lot of people are going to cite what's his name from that Republican protest, the guy who showed up with a rifle and was hailed as a Republican hero. He didn't point that gun at law enforcement. He didn't reach for his gun in a heated confrontation with law enforcement.
No.
His gun had the barrel aimed straight at the ground the entire time that he was active. His hand was not on the trigger and pretty much just was walking around with it as a display piece. Now, you can legally do that. And this individual in question had the right to carry, this Alex person had a right to carry. He had a concealed weapon permit. But when you're in the midst of a confrontation with an officer and you reach for your holster, even if they took the initial weapon, they do not know if you have a second weapon. You could have a knife, you can have a syringe, you can have a gun, you can have a fucking mousetrap. Okay, nobody knows what you have in your pockets or concealed down your pants.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's where this guy messed up. Okay, you can bring a firearm, but you do not interfere with an officer in the performance of their duties. And if you are in an escalated situation, you, as somebody who works with first responders, know you work to de-escalate the situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now I'll talk about for the last three live feeds here that it'd be best that if people start doing like a underground resistance of gathering information, smart, wise, do a kind of a neighborhood thing to keep an eye on things and monitor that things go well, but also if you're going to protest, be smart about it.
Yes, absolutely. But they're not being smart again. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Show that you're able to use your head and keep it civil, but also document date, timestamp it, record, chronicleize, and gather your information with others. They're doing the same thing. Have an underground network to monitor and record
to monitor these antagonists.
Yeah, monitor all things, but do it wise, civil, and smart.
Kind of like what we did when we covered the No Kings protest. We observed from across the street. We did not get in the middle. We did not get involved with them. We did not antagonize them. Any interaction we had with them, even in their midst, was very civil, very professional, and worked to de-escalate any potential hostilities.
Exactly. And also do patrol day and night. Kind of get things in check. Go door to door, make sure that neighbors are good and okay. And, and also show that, hey, look, we're here for you. We're with you. Just want to make sure that you guys are okay and good. And show that we're not going to agitate anybody, but keep it peaceful, keep it civil. You protest, but keep it civil and peaceful.
Yeah,
you
and
like brother. You're there.
Yeah, like we were saying. Like we were saying, you have all that information online. You can look up how to conduct a peaceful protest. You can look up how to interact with police and to de-escalate a situation. They don't want to de-escalate. These people want to be cannon fodder. They want to be sacrificial lambs. They want to be George Floyd 2.0 so that it triggers the John Podesta Civil War plan and Clower and Piven. That's what they're trying to do. And what you're suggesting is a counterbalance to that is people who show up and monitor these activities so that it cannot be argued that these people are a victim. They want to escalate the situation and play victim, and you're talking about providing a counterbalance to that and showing and documenting what happened, whether ICE is at fault or whether somebody else is at fault.
Exactly.
You want to make sure everything is documented and the information released is accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Because I want to see a separation of the protesters that are peaceful and wise, able to think for themselves, to the agitators who are getting paid to be assholes and shit, Like for example, I was watching the thing of Caitlin Bennett. She was in St. Petersburg, Florida, and at an anti-ICE protest thing, and this woman, she calls herself, I don't know what her name is. She was a agitator that had park police remove Caitlin Bennett.
Yeah.
Now this is a national park police. Well, I'm like, dude, you're a national park police. There is no First Amendment area. Anywhere you go is a First Amendment area, as long as you keep it peaceful, and civil, And she's media in a way. She's small time media, doing her job. But the guy saying, are you kind of protest? No, I'm media, dude. There is no First Amendment zone. Anywhere you go is First Amendment,
Yeah.
And,
yeah, you have the First Amendment right no matter where you go, but there are certain things you can't do in certain areas. Like you cannot, as a civilian, bring a gun into a courthouse. There's just certain limitation. All activity, even constitutional law, has limitations. You have a right to bear arms, but you don't have a right to bring a gun into a courthouse or into a school.
Yeah.
Okay, it's reasonable discernment.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people would argue that these are unconstitutional measures, and that's another matter for another time.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at is you have to use discernment, and there are laws in place that are set there to protect you and to protect law enforcement. And those laws are being circumvented right now, and it's creating a hostile environment. Now, we can sit here and get into all the dynamics of ICE and why they do what they do and why it's a good thing and how these protesters are obstructing ICE and doing a good thing. In fact, let's go into that.
Okay.
You have all these protesters online. You have all these leftists online saying that Trump's a pedophile. He's suppressing the Epstein files in order to protect pedophiles and human traffickers. Yet these people that ICE are going after have been documented, a vast majority of them, criminals, gang members, drug smugglers, and human traffickers.
Yeah.
Why are you trying to protect these people? I thought you were against Trump protecting pedophiles. On one hand, you're against Trump, quote unquote, protecting pedophiles because he allegedly is a pedophile, but then you're turning around and protecting the people who are doing the human trafficking. You're protecting the people who are kidnapping and trafficking these kids. You are preventing the agency in charge of arresting these people and getting rid of these people, getting these people out of our country and saving those victims of human trafficking, you're obstructing that. And you're saying it's like a Gestapo. It's a hypocrisy. It's not about anything other than wanting to spark a civil war because of an internal power struggle between Republicans and Democrats. They want to get this civil war started because they think that they're going to get this communist revolution. But even then, even if they won the Civil War, which they can't, we've discussed this many times.
Yeah.
Even if they won the Civil War, what are they going to implement when, in terms of a governmental system, after the fact? And if they do implement a governmental system, do you honestly think that these radicals, these people that they radicalized, aren't going to be sitting in prison when their usefulness is ended? Is like, well, you're too radicalized. We can't risk you radicalizing against our tyrannical communist regime. So you're just going to sit in fucking prison. Same with their fucking families. You think they're going to fucking take care of their families or not just fucking throw them in a fucking cage as well? Come on. Yeah. Like, let's be smart here, people.
That's like during World War II, Nazi Germany used prisoners as a unit.
Yeah, they did.
And even the SS were like, no, fuck this. But what I'm trying to get at is, it's getting bad. I mean, it is getting bad on both ends.
Oh,
yeah. Again, you have both sides that are completely hypocrites in a way.
Oh, absolutely. Like you were saying, DHS is trying to cover this up. Why would they even need to cover this up when the facts alone state that officers did not know if this person had a second weapon on them, and therefore the use of lethal force was justified? What do you need to cover up there? So there needs.
Now the thing is like this: if he only had one weapon holstered on him, and wasn't going to go for it, and he was just there to cover the body of the woman that was getting pepper sprayed, then, I mean, the thing is, they should have backed off a little bit, because was he applying aid? In a way, yeah, by putting his body over her. But also, they should have done they should have never done what they did. They could have moved him, but not shot a guy.
Here's the thing. One, it goes back to what we were saying before. Medical personnel and first responders know that you do not interfere with an officer. You render aid after the fact.
Exactly.
If they had pepper sprayed her and whatnot, then aid should have been rendered after the fact, not in the heat of the moment during the confrontation. It should have been rendered after the confrontation was resolved, because if they were trying to arrest her, that's impeding an arrest.
Yes.
Second of all, this person did not identify themselves as medical personnel or first responder of any kind. So at which point you have a civilian interfering with law enforcement. You don't have a medical personnel trying to render aid. He
should have said something. He should have said, "I'm a nurse. I'm here. I'm render aid." I mean, I agree there. Right there. That's partially a non-thinking. You ain't thinking.
Yeah, it's non-thinking, and in a way, it's got to be deliberate, because again, these people are trained. As a nurse, you work with first responders every day. You know the protocols. You know how you're supposed to interact with law enforcement. At which point, this is how it should have played out. He sees the person getting pepper sprayed. He approaches an ICE agent off to the side, and who's not directly in the middle of the confrontation, and goes, "I am a medical personnel. I am a nurse. I would like to render aid to this person." at which point you defer to ICE's leadership in this situation, and then they bring him in to render aid after the situation has been de-escalated and placed under control. Once control of the situation has been reestablished and escalation of the situation has been de-escalated, that is when ICE agents can bring him in to render aid as a third-party first responder. That is how it's supposed to go. And he knew this. As I said, nurses and doctors work with EMTs, firefighters, and police on a daily basis.
Exactly.
They know the protocols. He broke protocol and acted a fool. He carried a gun and placed himself in the middle of a violent confrontation.
Exactly.
And again, you play stupid games, you get stupid prizes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And I'm not speaking as a blundering novice here. I am a first responder. Okay. I have to operate as a third responder. Even in security, you have security, EMTs, police, and fire. Okay. And as somebody who has worked security and fire mitigation, you understand the rules of what it takes to be a first responder and how you're supposed to respond and who is in authority in any given situation, whether it be a fire, at which point you defer to the fire brigade. If it's a police investigation or a police matter, you defer to the police or whatever law enforcement agency. Okay, if it's a medical issue, you defer to the EMTs. That's why you have the fire department that comes with the ambulance to render assistance to the EMTs. EMTs in a medical situation have point. They take point in the situation. And the firefighters are there to back them up. Same in any other situation. It's depending on the situation, whoever is in charge of that situation, all other first responders follow that department's lead. And Nurse Alex knew this, and he broke protocol, having had a gun on him, escalating the situation that was already hostile, and got himself killed in the process. He cannot play victim.
No.
I am sorry he died. No human being should ever have to die in a situation like this. But again, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Okay, yeah. You knew what you were doing,
and now it leads to
you got your just desserts.
It leads to DHS blocking any investigation by the BCA in Minneapolis. Even with the court order, they're denied. You know.
Okay, is DHS intending to head up the investigation themselves? Because you have to ask. You have a lot of fraud going on in Minnesota right now. And this is where all this is happening, is Minnesota and Minneapolis, where there's a lot of fraud, a lot of corruption going on. Okay? Is it a matter of they are blocking the investigation, or are they trying to prevent any sort of tampering with the investigation?
They were blocking
that is the question that needs to be asked.
They're blocking investigation of the shooting of the guy. Like why block? I mean, he was shot by ICE, and BCA must come in investigate. ICE blocked. They're denied. Like why block access, especially if the court order was sent? Why block it anyway? Even with the court order, you know.
Well,
the guy was shot.
Court order aside. Again, you have probable cause. This person reached for their holster, even if they were disarmed. ICE agents do not know if this person had a second weapon on them. Ergo, lethal force. The use of lethal force was authorized. So there's nothing to impede there's nothing for DHS to cover up there, because you can simply make the argument as on camera, he reached for his holster. He could have had a second weapon on him. So ICE agents used their discernment and decided to take him out before he could reach for what they presume might have been a second weapon. DHS can easily make that argument, and an investigation would not negate that fact. So there's no need for DHS to interfere with an investigation unless they have reason to believe that there is going to be tampering, or they are aware of other details to this case that would warrant an extra level of discretion and scrutiny. And that could go either way.
I think
that realistically can go either way.
I think an area that they should collaborate on the investigation instead of controlling the whole thing. I mean, BCA, which is in Minneapolis, to also investigate. Like, look, don't block them. Hey, collaborate would be a good idea. To each area have their information and whatnot during their investigation. But the thing is, if you're blocking a local BCA, like, why? Well, I mean, they're right there might say, well, they're covering up. Like, whoa. Before you throw out the word cover up, okay?
Yeah.
How about we all collaborate on the same investigation instead of one controls the other?
Well, that again, that goes back to whether or not this agency plans to meddle in the investigation in terms of trying to cover up what really happened. DHS, we have the argument that DHS is trying to cover up what really happened. But on the flip side, it could be DHS who is trying to prevent the other party from covering something up. The door could swing both ways.
Yeah.
It's a double-edged sword. And at which point there needs to be an investigation, and DHS needs to act as a surveyor to the investigation and make sure that the investigation is conducted properly and that nothing is covered up or suppressed.
Be a surveyor while you got BCA and FBI do a full collaboration, so one or the other doesn't accuse of any kind of cover up. If you work together, that voids the cover up shit. But if you do it by yourself, either side will be accused of a cover up.
Yeah.
This is where I come in. Like, okay, look, you gotta be smart about it. You gotta understand both sides' concern. Both sides' concern is one or the other is doing the cover up. Well, how about we not do that? Is that we collaborate on the same investigation and work together, so there is no cover up. We work together and share information that even the media will say, well, there's a cover. No. If you work together, that avoids the cover up bullshit. But as long as DHS works as a surveyor and monitors the shit, and have FBI,
and you can't have the argument of a cover up.
Yeah,
absolutely. Fuck, I was gonna make a point, and now I can't even think of it. Shit. But if you really want to get into,
now there's going to be a accusation of a cover up or a attempted cover up by either side.
Yeah,
people are going to take it as a third party nonsense. Oh my God, they're going to be a cover up. Shut the fuck up, dude.
It could be argued that they're trying to prevent the cover up of, who sent him, because you have the Soros group who's paying all these agitators and whatnot.
Exactly.
There's a lot of money being funneled into these agitators. And if
agitators is a business.
It is.
It's a multi-million dollar business to disrupt any kind of government, whether it's local, state, or federal thing.
Yeah, and that's what you could argue is the cover-up could be tracing back where the money came from and arresting those parties who are funneling the money and paying all these agitators. Now, this is my opinion.
Okay.
And please give me a point here. Trump needs to sign the Insurrection Act. He was talking about signing it this past week, and to the best of my knowledge, has not done so. What he needs to do is enact the Insurrection Act, and he needs to go straight to the fucking source. He needs to arrest all of these corrupt judges, all of these Soros DAs, all of these corrupt Democrats and Republicans who are involved in these cover-ups, the money laundering, all of it. And let's not mince words. There are Republicans and Democrats who are involved in this. Exactly. All of these people need to be arrested. And everybody from the people providing the money, like the Soros group, all the way up to the Rothschilds and Rockefellers, just from the bottom to the top, arrest all these motherfuckers and have a RICO case under a military tribunal. Okay? From what I can understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, but under the Insurrection Act, you can hold a military tribunal. You can arrest all of these motherfuckers and hold a RICO case under a military tribunal.
Exactly.
And be done with it. Trump needs to stop pussyfooting around on this and get it done. Now, if he has people in his administration like Pam Bondi and whatnot who don't want to do their job, there's a list of people. We know who they are.
Fire her and bring in Trey Getty, man.
Yeah. But, there's a lot, and it's more than just her. And we know the names of all the people involved. If you got people on your team who aren't getting shit done or are trying to obstruct you, fire them. Stop pussyfooting around. I know you like Pam Bondi because she's eye candy. Okay. You can have your eye candy all you want, Trump, but she doesn't need to be in a position of authority. Go fucking put her off to the fucking side. Have your little eye candy off to the side and get somebody competent in this office to do the job. Okay. You want to pay her as eye candy? Go pay her as eye candy. She doesn't need to be the attorney general. Okay, get somebody in there who can and will do the job. Fire the people who aren't doing the job. Put the right people in. Get the wrong people out. Implement the Insurrection Act and arrest all these motherfuckers from the bottom to the top for inciting an insurrection, trying to start a civil war, and treason and crimes against humanity. All the evidence is there. You don't need to pussyfoot around with fraud and all this other bullshit. You have attempted insurrection, attempting to start a civil war, which is war crimes, treason, and crimes against humanity. Easy peasy. These people are very public about it. They gloated about their crimes. It's documented tenfold. Stop pussyfooting around, Orange Man, and get it done.
He went after his press secretary.
Yeah.
Like why? She's doing her job.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, the press secretary, she's just a press secretary. She doesn't have any authority to do anything other than be a mouthpiece.
Yeah.
Okay. She's there to be eye candy and be a talking head. Okay. That's her job.
Yeah.
Okay. You maybe just have Pam Bondi be the press secretary, a secondary press secretary. I don't care. If he wants his eye candy, he can have his eye candy.
Do the job.
But eye candy does not need to be the attorney general.
No.
Okay, just because she's eye candy.
Bring us look. I kind of should. And, if I was president, I would want someone to do the job. Look, I don't care if you're fucking 60, do the fucking job, man.
Yeah, and if you can't, and if
care,
you have somebody who can't do the
60,
job, then you need to replace them.
Yeah, exactly. I don't care if you're 60 or an eye patch, whatever. Do the fucking job. Do the job.
And if you can't do the job, then step down and get the hell out of the way for somebody else. And that goes for Trump, that goes for Pam Bondi, that goes for anybody in any given administration, regardless of their position. If you cannot do the job, then get the hell out of the way. I mean, that's what they did with Joe Biden. They just held him out like Weekend at Bernie's, had him do a few public appearances, but 99% of the time he was locked in a fucking bedroom, eating ice cream with shit in his fucking pants, while his cronies, all his buddies, including his wife, were running the country via AutoPen.
Exactly.
Okay, Joe Biden wasn't president of the United States, and everybody wants to target Joe Biden. Joe Biden was checked out, okay? The politician that was Joe Biden is long since gone. He was long since gone before he ever took the presidential office, okay? All you had there was a feeble old man who was a victim of elderly abuse, okay? Yeah. Joe Biden, the politician, regardless of whether you like him or hate him or any kind of crimes that he may or may not have taken part in during his time with the Obama administration, that politician is long gone, and all you had left sitting in that Oval Office position was a feeble old man who was checked out upstairs and a victim of elderly abuse. Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't Joe Biden. It was a victim of elderly abuse.
Okay, we're getting close to the 120 mark. We're gonna go ahead and put the turkey in the oven. And,
go for it.
Anybody new to this channel? Like, subscribe, comment below, hit the bell for notification. Always live healthy, happy, wise. We love you guys. And my good brother in arms, Tin Man. Good man. Good to have you.
Likewise, brother. Always a pleasure.
Working both channels on the Anonymous, Minawati, and Republic Network. If we're both channels again, like, subscribe, comment below, hit the bell for notification. Peace out. Godspeed. Buddha bless.
Till next time.
If you ain't down with that, we got 3 words for you. Go fuck yourself.
Suck these nuts.
Exactly.
Take care, Evan.
All right, man.